Hey guys, KB here. I know it's been a while since I last posted a video. I recorded a book haul, and I tried so many times to upload it, and since my computer's finally in the shop, I'm gonna wait till it gets back to try and transfer the video from my phone onto the computer and see if I can upload it that way. Until then, I thought we'd talk about some Cassandra Clare books. It's been a hit or miss for me personally with Cassandra Clare because I read City of Bones years ago. I enjoyed it. I started City of Ashes, got about halfway through, and then just could not get through it. So then I put them down, and then years later, so it was this technically last year, probably like an actual year ago, I picked up Lady Midnight. I don't own it, but I really enjoyed it. And, I know that just skipping from book 2 of the beginning of the whole Shadowverse to all the way till then was just not exactly a good idea. I decided that I'm going to read more of her books. I want to read all of her books so I can finish Lady Midnight and the Dark Artifices, because I really enjoyed that book. So, I actually, because I know, Chain of Gold is out, sorry, I went to Barnes & Noble before it was closed due to the pandemic, and bought Clockwork Angel. It was on sale for $5. So then I also picked up Clockwork Prince, and so I read Clockwork Angel. And oh my gosh, guys, I freaking loved it. The writing style was honestly beautiful. The storyline, some parts I was kind of confused, but it just kept me wondering going through. I'm like, holy crap, what's gonna happen next? Is she gonna find her brother? Guys, this book, I am so glad I picked it up. This is not the actual cover I intended to buy. I wanted the ones that are more this design, but they didn't have any, so I went with it. But that's okay, because when you put these together, they've got that prettiness. So I guess I'm gonna have to start collecting them in this version, and I'm okay with that. So anyway, if you guys don't know what this beauty of a book is about, it's basically a girl named Tessa. It's actually Teresa, but everyone calls her Tessa. And she is moving from New York to London in the 1800s, I think. If I'm wrong there, don't kill me. I swear I know it. I'm not good with dates and history and all that. So this is way back when. And she's moving in with her brother because her aunt had died. And now it's just them left. And so she gets there. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert now, because I'm just going to keep going through the entire story. I'm sorry. I have a little non-spoiler version on my blog if you guys want to look at that. It's just KB Reads at, I think, Wixit. I'll link it somewhere if I can. Anyway, back to this. And so she gets there, and these two sisters come to pick her up. They have a letter from her brother saying, I trust these two companions. Go with them. She's like, oh, okay, well, my brother said so. So she goes, and yeah, that was a bad idea. Sorry, my cat's doing weird stuff. Anyway, so she's there, and then it jumps to 6 weeks later after that. And so they're called the Dark Sisters. Don't remember their names. I know we get told them at one point. And they're making her change. They will give her a piece of jewelry. I'll say this is from someone. They'll give it to her, she takes it, and then she can morph herself into the person who had owned it, into the time of, when they had it. It's actually quite fascinating, and I really want to know more about how exactly those gifts work, and, the whole mechanics and stuff behind it. But anyway, so she's doing that. And then, on the other side of the story, you have the Shadow Hunters, obviously, and Will and Jem are just strolling around looking into like a murder of this little girl because it has to do with some demon I don't remember the name of because I'm really bad with names. And they find the body of a little girl. Fast forward, it's the same girl, at least one of the same girls, that Tessa had been forced to change into. And finding that body, the Shadowhunters are able to figure out that it was the Dark Sisters who were behind it through some weird snake insignia. And so while Will's looking into that, he finds Tessa and rescues her and takes her back to the Institute. So then she's there and she meets everyone. They're going, "What are you?" And Brother Enoch, who is one of the Silent Brothers, he goes, "You're Eidolon. Eidolon? Yeah. Eidolon. How you pronounce that? Don't know. And I'm just gonna... So anyway, so we know that she's a shapeshifter. She's there's something demon from her, but there's no demon mark, which like labels her which specific demon made her. Which then becomes, what the heck? Who am I? Who made me? And so, yeah. And then, so Tessa's brother, Nathaniel, who she just refers to as Nate, is still missing. And she was under the impression that Dark Sisters had him locked up somewhere as well. And so they kept her controlled by saying that they were going to torture him. And she's like, no. So that's why she's so compliant. And so the gist of at least the main focus of like the first half, first 2/3 of this story, are them trying to find her brother. So she shows all the Shadowhunters her ability. And so it's not just Will and Jem, who I like those pair, but there's also Charlotte, who's the head of the Institute. I freaking love her. She is a badass. Full and full. And her husband Henry, who's just a goof, loves technology and stuff. Then you have Jessamine, who her parents died, and so because she's a Shadowhunter, she still has to do stuff, but she just wants to be a lady. So she honestly annoys me so much because she has these cool abilities. She can do so much, but she just, I want to be a proper lady. Please, girl. Please. If I had the ability to fight off demons, you bet your butt I would. I just think that's so cool. Anyway, so there's that. And then, so Charlotte and Henry go to talk to Nate's boss, Mortman, who, he's human, but he's really interested in the whole shadow world and all of that. What are you doing? Don't bite me. And so they're trying to get information from him. They pretend to be, Nate's parents, cousins, parents, something like that. But he knows that he knows who they actually are, so they just cut the crap and go for it. And so he tells them some information, which then points them to DeQuincy, which is the head of the vampire clan. Don't bite my charger. Sorry, my cat is being a douche. And so then they start looking at DeQuincy, and then Charlotte has a vampire CI, honestly, who comes in and tells her that DeQuincy is murdering mundanes, which is also humans, during his big old parties, and she's known this for a year, but she hasn't said anything. That personally just like, your timing. And so anyway, so she tells him what's going on, and then so she gives Tessa her necklace that she wears so she can transform into her and be able to do that, because once she has done it once, she can do it again. And so the whole plan is, Nate left Mortman's to work for DeQuincy. That's where that's going in. And so the Shadowhunters and Tessa are able to convince the Clave that they should look into this. And so Tessa morphs herself into Lady Belcott. I don't know if that's correct. She's known as Camille. Let's put it that way. We all know her. She is a douche later on, and she's currently dating Magnus, who everyone loves. I haven't found my personal love for him yet, but I'm still a very beginner. So anyway, they go in. Will is her human subjugate, so it's basically, this is my feeding human. I go and feed off him for fun whenever I want. And so they go in, and they have this little device that Henry made that makes giant bright light. And they're gonna, if they see Nate, or, well actually, if they see that DeQuincy and his people are eating humans, drinking blood, murdering humans, he's gonna press a little button, go, and the whole enclave in London come in. So they do that because it turns out Nate is their human that they're going to feed and kill. And so he presses it, but nothing really happens. And then everything just bursts into flames, which if you think about it though, is actually quite smart because vampires die when they're burst into flames. So good thinking, Henry, but it was also a very hard thing for everyone else who was outside because they couldn't get into DeQuincy's little place to actually like do that. But they figured it out and they jumped in. So they saved Nate. And so they bring him back to the Institute. They kill 90-ish% of the vampires within that clan who were there. DeQuincy gets away, so they're plotting the next attack to follow him and get to kill him. And then, as that is going on, then you also have, there are these automatrons. Can I just call them creepy bionic people? So they're going around, and they have been trying to take Tessa to bring him back to the Magistrar. Because, so first the Dark Sisters were going to give Tessa to the Magistrar. And so he, like, is just making more automatrons, human-looking robots. And, because they're not made from heaven or hell, so they can, in theory, kill shadow hunters, because they're made to kill things from heaven and hell and all that. And they attack Tessa and Jem one night when they're just out kind of on a stroll, because Tessa just really needs out for a while, and they attack him. They leave once they have Jem's blood on one of the hands. And then so there's that. And so now everyone's back at the Institute. They're trying to figure out what's going on. So then they start talking to Nate and trying to figure out what he knows. And so he then points towards, this is where DeQuincy's going next, because this is all safe house. And so the enclave builds up again and then launches away. And they leave Tessa, Will, Jem, and Jessamine at the Institute, along with their servants, Thomas, Sophie, and Agatha, who don't have much of a, like, big part, but, like, they do, sort of, now. And so, while the adults are off, Mortman comes knocking on the Institute door and then tells them that he knows that the Dark Sisters are going to be doing a spell to catch a demon, because you need part of a demon soul magic abilities into the automatrons to actually make them come to life. So then Will and Jem decide, well, we need to go and make it so that doesn't happen. And so then they go off. Oh, Nate's also in the Institute still. And so then it's just Tessa, Nate, Jessamine, and the servants. And then all of a sudden, an automatron just bursts into the Institute. And because he has Jem's blood on the hand, he has Shadowhunter blood to enter. And then you learn that it's Mortman who's the Magistrar. I personally did not see this coming. I know some people totally did, but I personally did not. I was just like, because honestly to me, he's just a useless, dumb person who just is sticking his head into places he really shouldn't. But yeah. So Jessamine and Thomas fight as best they can. Thomas dies, which makes me sad because, like, he was like their weapons master kind of guy. And he's just so nice. Just having a moment of silence for Thomas. Anyway, so then before Thomas actually like dies, he tells Tessa to take Jessamine, or like Sophie and Agatha, to the sanctuary to hide. So they start going. Meanwhile, Nate's now who knows where. And then we also find out that Nate is working with Mortman. And yeah, we don't really know how exactly he was able to communicate with Mortman that the Enclave was gone. It was just a small amount of people. Because if it weren't for him, Jem and Will would still be there. So yeah, stuff happens, lots of battling. Thomas officially dies. Agatha also dies, which makes some people sad because she was the cook and made fantastic food. Which I feel, because food. So she's gone. Sophie's in shock. So they get to the sanctuary. And then Nate makes his appearance. And goes, makes problems. And then so Mortman's coming in. And he gets to Tessa, Sophie, and Jessamine. He's got his creepy robots. And he has the... If you guys could see my cat right now. He's just... That was so random. Sorry. Anyway. So he has his creepy robots take a hold of Sophie and Jessamine. And he's threatening to kill them. And so Tessa goes, if you let them go, I will not leave. I will stay. So... They don't exactly let go of them, but they just wander off. But they're not in current threat of dying. She might still be is. But then, this is where I like literally lost it. Mortman's all like, you were made for this. I made you. And I'm just like, what the fudge knuckles? So apparently... We don't actually know how exactly, but it is implied that her mother slept with someone who just looked like her father, who wasn't actually her father. But then he also goes, your mother doesn't know what she was. So it's like, so we don't know technically who is the dad, and we don't know what the mother is. And that is driving me freaking nuts, guys. Oh yeah. Nate's all like, because Nate had been told this, he is like, you're not my sister. So that's why he sells Tessa out. Like, that's why he's in on it. Because he doesn't consider her blood, like, related anymore, which I think is awful. Like, family is more than just blood, douche bucket. So yeah, so that just ends with the Clave coming back. Going, there were only like 7 vampires here, not the amount we were thinking. Will and Jem come back. Going, they weren't actually in this. Jem brings back a cat who they named Church. I like that. How they introduced Church. And then, so now the Enclave is going, maybe you shouldn't be running this institute, Charlotte. Which technically... For them, it's like the man's world still. And so they think it's Henry who's doing this. But all in all, they let Tessa stay. And she's happy about it. But then you also have this love triangle thing. Which, I have mixed emotions. Like, I like the Will Tessa moments. When Will's actually, like, being nice and seeming to be real. But, like, Jem is just a sweetheart from the beginning, so I think right now I'm a Tessa Jem fan. But I have 2 more books to read. So yeah, that's Clockwork Angel. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really, really enjoyed it. Or did I? 80% sure. Yeah, 4 out of 5. This is the little notebook I put like the books I read in. So yeah. Oh yeah. This is also the only book I read last month in March. Which is very not like me. So yeah. So now I'm really excited to get into Clockwork Prince. It just kind of continues on the story. I think I have read the little blurb once. But like I don't quite remember anything from it. So I'm just going to keep it that way. And then, yeah, so I decided that I am going to give this book another try. And I also bought City of Glass. So I want to finish this little trilogy before I continue on in the Infernal Devices, just because that, like, even in reading order, like, that's how they were, like, published and whatnot. But I don't know, we'll see. So I'm excited. So yeah, this is my Cassandra Clare video. Sorry about all the random sounds. It's my cat. He has to be in here when we go to bed. It is currently like 1 in the morning for me right now. I'm just not tired. But yeah, I got a new phone, so I'm recording it on this phone now. And hopefully, it's a better quality. I'm hoping, guys. I really am. Hopefully when my computer fixes, I can just slowly, like, get a SIM card and use my mom's camera, record videos, and then just put it on my computer and see how that goes, so I can also actually edit the videos, because right now I just kind of record and then post. So yeah, that's it. That's it for today. Good night. Till next time. KB out.